The town of Merriton was quiet, a small dot on the map that was easily overlooked. It had quaint cobblestone streets, friendly neighbors, and an annual fair that brought in visitors from neighboring towns. But beneath the surface, a darkness lay in wait, ignited by a forbidden ritual that was never meant to be uncovered. It all began when Ella, a curious 16-year-old with a knack for exploration, stumbled upon an old book while cleaning out her grandmother's attic. The book, bound in cracked leather, had yellowed pages filled with strange symbols and whispers of ancient rites. Among the pages, one particular incantation caught her eye, a spell to rise the dead. Ella, defined by her mischievous spirit and longing for excitement, decided to gather her two closest friends, Jake and Mia, for an adventurous night in the woods behind the town. As dusk fell, the trio followed the moonlit path leading into the deep forest, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to lean in as if they had secrets to share. Ella brandished the book like a trophy, the paper rattling in excitement as she read the incantation aloud, a thrill running down her spine. Is this really a good idea? Mia hesitated, her vibrant red hair losing color in the approaching darkness. Lighten up, Mia, it's all just stories, Jake scoffed, his confidence surging in the face of their growing anxiety. Mia rolled her eyes, though unease fluttered in her stomach as she exchanged a worried glance with Ella. With the last word echoing into the night, an unsettling silence enveloped them. The soft rustle of leaves halted, and even the distant sounds of chirping crickets seemed to fade into nothingness. The air grew thick, stifling. The ground trembled slightly beneath them, a quiver as if the earth itself was unsettled. Nothing happened. Ella laughed nervously to mask her fear. Yet, the moment was shattered when a low groan roamed through the trees, echoing like a distant thunder. Did you hear that? Mia whispered, her voice barely above a breath. I heard it, Jake said, his bravado slipping. They waited, the sound lingering in their ears. Then, from the shadows, a figure stumbled into view. A gaunt man with greenish skin and sunken eyes, his mouth hanging open as if mid-scream, though no words emerged. It's just a trick, Ella said, forcing herself to believe it. It's Halloween. Probably some guy in a costume. But the man kept coming, his limbs jerking unnaturally as he closed the gap between them. Run, Jake shouted, the shock of fear propelling them all into a sprint. They raced past trees that seemed to close in around them, branches reaching out like hands trying to hold them back. Behind them, the groans multiplied, the haunting chorus echoing through the forest. More figures appeared, rising from the earth, foul and rotting. Panic surged through Ella's veins as she ran, adrenaline dulling her sense of direction. They burst into a clearing, where the moon hung like an eye in the sky, and it was there they turned, hearts pounding, breaths heaving, to face the horrors that they had conjured. The undead advanced slowly at first, but soon they were upon them, grinning grotesquely with crumbling teeth and lifeless eyes. What do we do? Jake yelled, desperation clawing at their minds. Ella's hands shook. We have to. A shriek rang out, cutting through the air like a shard of glass. Mia was snatched from behind, cold fingers wrapping around her wrist as a skeletal hand clutched her. Ella opened her mouth to scream but no sound emerged. Mia! She screamed in her mind, her heart breaking as she watched her friend struggle, the decomposing face inches from hers. With a frantic surge of courage, Ella lunged forward, grabbing a fallen branch and swinging it at the creature. The branch shattered against its skull, but it didn't stop. Instead, it turned its hollow gaze upon Ella, the hunger in its eyes unmistakable. Run, Mia yelled, her voice slicing through the chaos, and in that instant, Ella and Jake pushed through the throng of bodies, shoving them away. They fled deeper into the woods, but each corner turned found them facing more of the relentless horde. The trees seemed to twist in their path, leading them astray. Finally, they stumbled upon a small cabin, hidden beneath the gnarled branches. In here, Jake urged. They threw themselves inside, slamming the door shut, panting and shaking. Are you okay? Jake asked, his eyes wide. They strained to hear the moans outside, dread hanging heavy in the air. That was a mistake, Ella whispered, shame and fear tumbling within her. We shouldn't have. The door suddenly rattled violently, forcing all hope from Ella's heart. The undead had found them. The cabin rattled as if shaking in its very bones, as if the zombies were intent on breaking in. Hold the door, Jake shouted, positioning himself against it. We need to find a way out. But the window shattered, glass exploding into the room as a decayed hand reached inside. Jake grabbed a rusty lamp and swung it, crashing it into the arm, sending it back. We can't stay here. We have to fight. Reality set in as the horrors they had awakened pressed closer, a harbinger of doom that would consume them alive. As dread spiraled, Ella realized the truth. There was no escaping their recklessness. They had opened a door that should have remained sealed, and now, as the undead pressed in, they became lost silhouettes in the twisted dance of the cursed, condemned to theirs and their friends' fate, the echoes of their laughter forever silenced by what they had summoned.